pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Does anybody have any items they'd like to remove from the consent agenda? Okay. Fiscal business, Russ?
Yes, I had the transfer of funds from investment earnings to be passed via resolution. You get this every quarter, the same as it is every quarter, so it's ready for your action today, and that's all I have.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions about 5185? Is there a motion to approve 5185?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Metersbaugh.
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard.
Yay.
Mr. Wade.
Yay. And then we have public comments. And we also have, moving on to new business administration, we have resolution 5186, a resolution amending the 2019 permanent appropriations resolution with supplemental appropriations.
Just a couple of items on the supplemental. I like what the board did with the level of control last year. We've been able to account for most of the issues that we had in the 229 line. We've known about this problem for quite some time because we paid a 2018 insurance bill in 2019, so we knew we were going to run low eventually. As this coming to fruition, and of course the decisions that were made with respect to the determinants agreement back in February, March, and April, make sure that we have enough money appropriated to be able to pay that bill when it gets delivered in late November or early December. Okay. If you have any questions, I'm glad to answer.
Anybody have any questions about 5186? Is there a motion to approve 5186?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Gabbard.
Yay.
Mr. Metersbaugh.
Yay.
And Mr. Wade.
Yay. And we have a recommendation to contract with Paycor as the third-party payroll vendor effective January 1st, 2000.
Yeah, I wrote a pretty lengthy memo to the board as part of the packet. We've given it a solid go with ADP that's gone 15, 16 months, and our staff just, their frustration has become evident, and it just is not working the way that it was sold. Being that we extensively discussed and interviewed Paycor, went over the postmortem from the first go-around with them a number of different times, and we're confident that we've moved past any issues that we might have had, and that they can serve our needs as advertised and as sold better than ADP has been able to. So with that, it is our recommendation to select Paycor as our third-party payroll vendor. If that doesn't work well, we'll just go back to the old route and get Russ like, nope, not going.
Oh, my God, no.
Yeah. So if you guys are satisfied with everything with them, obviously you'd be just up a bunch, and it'll be a much better system.
I really challenge my committee to sell me on it because it's an important decision, it's more than nothing else. I have to look at you in the eye and say, we need to make this change, and I know that we recommended ADP 15 months ago without hesitation, but
They have not met what they kept saying people do, so.
not even close. Not in just one area either.
I understand that. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the entering into a contract effective January 1st of 2020 with Paycor?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Metersbaugh.
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard.
Yay.
Mr. Wade.
Yay.
Thank you.
Looking forward to it being a better situation.
We do too.
Resolution 5187, a resolution electing to use OTARMA's coverage documented for requiring public officials bonding in lieu of securities bond and dispensing with the second reading.
Yeah, we discussed this topic at last meeting, and without further conversation, I'm glad to answer questions at the end.
Better coverage, cheaper price. The motion to approve 5187.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Gabbard.
Yay.
Mr. Metersbaugh.
Yay.
Mr. Wade.
Yay.
And 5188, a resolution to participate financially with the city of Springboro in the effort to repave Woodbury Franklin Road.
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting situation because we generally do not have maintenance responsibility over Woodbury Franklin, although we do have a number of different pockets of private property along there that our citizens live in and own. So
Years ago, we used to take care of that.
right,
I was
yeah,
glad
it's
when we
been
gave
on
it away.
it's been on a handshake agreement ever since. But you know, in that portion, you know, 3/4 of a mile to a mile, there's 4 different jurisdictions that it goes between. So it's been kind of an orphan. I understand now the top side, and I actually saw the top side on the northern side of 75 is getting particularly bad. And oil and wood split off from one another. So the city of Springboro took the lead on it and said, you know what, hey, we'll go try to get some federal dollars to help subsidize repaving it. The estimate they worked up is a little over $600,000. The grant application they're putting in is a little over about $300,000. They get extra points scored on their grant application if they can show intergovernmental cooperation, which is why they called myself and Tracy from Franklin Township and said, hey, you guys throw in a vote here so we can get extra points and try to grab some federal loans to be able to get this done. So
We don't want any portion of it back.
it's a good opportunity.
It's a good opportunity to help them personally. I believe.
Keep it elsewhere.
I would never like to spend money, particularly, but
I give it
we
away
don't want
at
it
the same time. I don't want to take care of it.
Exactly.
for God's sakes.
Mhm.
I think it's money well spent.
I agree.
Good. Any other comments about 5188? Is there a motion to approve 5188?
So moved. Second?
Mr. Mearsfall?
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yay. Anything else from administration at this time?
Not this time.
Road Parks Department, we have resolution 5189, resolution accepting public streets for maintenance in Cypress Ridge subdivision phase 7.
On a walkthrough satisfactory, plat was in your materials. I'm glad to answer any questions if you have.
Our process we have with streets on a regular basis, once they're built and approved by the county, we get to take them over. So motion to approve 5189.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Mearsfall?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yay. And 5190 deals with the same thing in the villages of Winding Creek and in section 2. Any questions about 5190? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second?
Mr. Mearsfall?
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yay. And 5191, same subject, except and in Winding Creek also section 4. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second?
Mr. Gabbard? Mr. Mearsfall?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yay. Anything else from Road and Park Department at this time?
No.
Moving on to the zoning department, we have resolution 5192, a resolution that clarifies the height of vegetation necessary for the trustees to determine maintenance of a specific tract of land constitutes a nuisance. Jeffrey?
Yes, sir. We've had some discussion, of course, the past month, more or less. What we have before you this evening is opportunity to modify the previous set of regulations in placing platted subdivisions in an 8-inch height, unplatted less than 5 acres at an 8-inch height. Here, we have any areas that are designated as the wildflower areas, that they're going to have a maximum of 12 inches for noxious weeds. And then unplatted, it's a minimum of 5 acres, goes to a 12-inch minimum height. And then we had long discussion about agriculture and how that would be. We have that as the 5th option, that if it's greater than 5 acres and enrolled in the CAUV program, would be reviewed case by case, but in no case would it be over 36 inches. So that's the next resolution that we'll see if we can put out play, see how things modify. But that is your current one.
Okay, anybody have any comments for Jeff, questions for Jeff?
You said minimum height, are you meaning maximum height?
Yeah.
My apologies, the last one's a maximum height. We had in excess that went through there, and then
Yep.
yes. There was a lot of alligators eating one way or the other through there, so the minimum and maximum, that's my apologies.
Well, Jeff, are you going to ask questions from there, just tell us your name.
Richard Zedgar, been here, this is my third meeting. He's
No,
probably-
not that we didn't know before,
Well,
that's okay.
I did have a question, if I may. In a non-platted area, what is 5 acres being proposed to change to 12 inches?
If you're you're unplatted, you're below 5 acres, it's 8 inches. If your 5 acres or greater, then it's 12 inches.
Okay. It's not what I was looking for, but it's progress,
Yeah.
and I appreciate that. I wanted to mention one other thing in this discussion too around this. I have the Clear Creek Township Zoning Code, Chapter 17, about the buffer and screening. And it talks about, and the reason I'm bringing this up, this is back to the thistles thing. Our yard is getting invaded by the thistles in the property next to us. And guys, I'm not whining here, but I spend pretty big bucks. I'm retired, fixed income now. Spend pretty big bucks on weeding our yard. You saw in the pictures our yard. I'm gonna have to spray that again, probably 20 feet, the whole side. And in here, in the Chapter 17 buffer and screening, item B, it says, prohibited vegetation. Plants identified as noxious weeds in the Ohio Administrative Code Section 901:5-31-01, that is updated from time to time, shall be prohibited in all required landscaped areas. The required landscaped area for the buffer is from the right-of-way easement to the front of the home. And there's a heavy population of thistles in there. So I would ask that that be enforced, abated. I looked up the term abated. I was hoping for elimination, but it says, I think, more along the lines of controlled. But I looked on the Ohio list of noxious weeds, and thistles are listed multiple times. So that's a problem. I would very much like that
We'll take a look at it.
enforced.
Yep. Okay.
So what happens with this? This is a proposal, I take it?
Well, we're gonna vote on it now.
Okay.
This changes the zone,
Actually change the zone code, but now it doesn't go into effect, what's the
Well,
action?
this is actually a first reading, so the second reading will be in 2 weeks, and then it'll sit there 30 days, and then it'll be active.
Okay. And if I may, seriously, you can talk to the Spring Borough government. I don't think I was ever over there other than to pick up the local tax form. I'm not a problem, I'm not a troublemaker. But I would say the property next door, the weeds, they're at least at 36 inches high. And they have not done anything to abate them, cut them down. I don't know who, I think, Jason, you drove by.
Yeah.
I mean, it just looks bad, doesn't it?
I agree.
So,
We're, based on what we're doing and moving forward with, this is, I mean, from my perspective, this is a step in the direction
I agree.
that we need.
I appreciate.
As we grow, these are things that we're going to continue to address, so.
I appreciate the effort and the work that you're doing on this, because it's just really, it's made us sick, kind of thing. I would tell you this too, we have further invested. My wife and I, and with the help of our neighbor, Jim Pepperly, he has a compact Kubota tractor like I do, a front end loader. And it's interesting, but we put in, on that perimeter in our backyard, we put in 225 feet of a mound with shredded, good quality topsoil from Schwartz, and 20 Norway spruce trees 10 feet apart. And then that was 75 tons of topsoil, 20 yards of mulch, 20 trees. We've got close to $8,000 in that. And primarily, me and my wife, we're 70. I like to think we don't look 70. We're 70. And you know when we were doing this work? It was 88, 90, 92 degrees every day. And so we got that in, so we've invested to help with this problem too, to, you know, minimize the view and all that. And you, I think you know this too, if you have this kind of work done, I'm a do-it-yourselfer, so I know what it costs to have it. You usually double it. So it's probably been $16,000, $17,000 if I had to pay a landscaper to do that. So anyway, I want to thank you for the listening to us, the work you're doing. I know it's not done yet, but I just want to be optimistic.
Yeah, well, thank you.
I don't know if you have any other questions of me or whatever.
No, I don't think so right now, but we appreciate you bringing it up to our attention, because we probably wouldn't have addressed it if you hadn't, so
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Okay. Well, I really do think this will help Clear Creek Township
Yeah.
too, in this transitional times we live in, so.
Okay.
I will
Thank you
leave.
very much.
And thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anybody have any other questions on 5192? Jeff? The motion to approve 5192.
So moved.
I'll move.
Second?
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Mr. Gabbard, Mr. Metersball? I'm
Yay.
sorry, Mr. Gabbard.
Yay.
Mr. Metersball?
Yay.
Mr. Williams?
Yeah.
Thanks for the order, I'm sorry. I'm on a new page, so I didn't have the last.
So can I ask again, I'm not really clear, sorry, what happens next? Jeff, you talked about a second reading or something, so,
2 weeks from now, we'll do the same thing, basically.
and then it'd be final with?
No, 30 days after.
30 days
Okay.
after that.
Okay, if it is approved next time again. Okay, okay, thank you.
I feel sure it will be.
Okay, thank you.
Me too.
Well,
Steve's holding out. Let's see this Mulder's first.
Anything else from planning and zoning at this time?
No, sir.
Okay. Police Department, we have a recommendation to reclassify Diane Rothenberger to part-time employment at current pay rate effective November 4th.
and in conjunction with that, you'll see the next agenda item is to put Savannah in that full-time slot. So effectively, they're just swapping employment position. Diane has indicated that she is looking to wind it down and retire sooner than later.
I talked to her today, and she said the same thing to me.
Her mom appears to not be doing very well in Philadelphia, so that's where Diane actually is today. She had to leave and go to Philly earlier this morning, so I don't know how long Diane intends to stay, but it does not sound like it's going to be very long. You know, in light of the training that goes into the work that they do, being cross-trained between being receptionist as well as being a clerk, the police department, to allow for adequate time to get someone trained to fill that part-time position. I'd like to keep Diane on for several more months until she's ready to officially call it a career. So
I think her husband retires at the end of the year.
I think he's pretty much retired already, if not
It's official.
formally, at least in practice.
Good.
So, yeah, I asked that Diane be reclassified to part-time, and Savannah be reclassified to full-time. You can do it as a promotion if you want to.
Let's
You sure?
do exactly that. Let's
It's much
reclassify
Been a few years.
Diane and Savannah to part-time and full-time respectively.
So moved. Second?
Mr. Metersball?
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Williams?
Yay. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. Fire district, we have a recommendation to accept a donation of $250 from Dominion Energy. Sir.
They give us
They were welcome. A motion to accept this donation.
So moved. Second?
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Metersball?
Yay.
Mr. Williams?
Yay. Anything else, Steve? And we have the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second?
Mr. Metersball?
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Williams?
Yay. Anything under staff reports, staff updates?
I have none.
You guys have anything?
One little one for me. My dad drove into town yesterday, as I said, during that incident. I believe Wendy was turning traffic around somewhere close to B&B, and apparently the woman in front of my father didn't know what this meant. And she came right at Wendy, and Wendy stopped and there was a fairly terse exchange, not from Wendy, but from the driver. So my dad was impressed with how well she handled the situation, so if that means anything. He's from South Carolina, so, you know, things are different down there, but, I don't know who it was. I said, what color was her hair? Because I'm like, we got 4 or 5 women, you know, so, and he told me it's from Wendy, so, anyway.
Very good, thanks.
To pass that on from me, please.
Okay, anybody have any other comments? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Williams?
You guys.